Sure. The video is in 11-minute and 31-second video. It when it starts, the title of the video is embedded into the video, which is called The Jogger. The video depicts a female that's out on a somewhat secluded road jogging. And as she's jogging down this dirt road, she stops after a minute or so, and she takes out her cell phone. And there's audio to this video too, so you can actually hear her. And she calls someone on her cell phone and explains to this person that she's talking to that she believes she is being followed. She talks to this person for half a minute to a minute, explaining her concerns about being followed. She then hangs up with this person and continues jogging down this rural road. A short distance and a short time later, as she is jogging, she is attacked by an adult male that jumps out of a wooded area between some trees and bushes. The adult male grabs her. She resists and starts fighting to try to get away, but he is able to successfully incapacitate her and render her unconscious. This adult male then drags her by her arms as she's unconscious to a waiting minivan. The minivan is parked down the road. You don't see it in the video until she is dragged to the back of the van, and then you see a green minivan parked alongside a road. The adult male then opens the rear hatch of the minivan and proceeds to pick up this female, lays her down in the back of the van, proceeds to remove some of her clothing. He then rapes her and murders her.
And as you said, that video is about 11 minutes long?
11 and a half minutes, 11 minutes, 31 seconds.
Okay. Now, and I'm not going to obviously go into detail as to all, thousands of these. I'm not going to have you do that. But I think as we established this morning, that was one of several.
Yes.
Of similar, well, let me ask you this. Are they of similar theme?
Yes, they are.
And I think you described it. The one thing that I'm interested in, Mr. McCarthy, because I'm sure you know, where do folks find this stuff? I mean, what links do you have to go to actually find this and download it?
Well, you have to go to specific websites. There was a number of websites that through Internet History records on the computer that I was able to determine that the user of this computer was going to download these type of videos.
Now, when you say computer, you're talking about the ASUS?
The ASUS computer,
okay,
yes.
So the ASUS tower, you were able to see some Internet history of searches for this kind of stuff.
Yes, in addition, a lot of these videos have the actual website name embedded in the video. And this particular video titled The Jogger had the website heavy-r.com embedded in the video, which is an indication that that's where the video was downloaded from.
From the Internet history that you saw for this type of stuff, what sort of websites or search engines are being used or generated? What did you find?
There was a number of them. One of them was called rapelover.com. Another one was called xxxrape.com. Another one that was heavily used was heavy/r.com, which is a website that I've seen before and have actually looked at, which is has hundreds and thousands of these type of murder videos, rape videos, killing videos. Gore.com is another one that was used quite often. There's a number of websites that specialize in rape, murder, kidnapping videos.
Now, as it relates to, can you describe for the jury what you did and what you found to determine user, as best as you could, user of both of the external hard drives?
There was a number of Microsoft Word documents that were saved on these external drives, the thumb drive and the Western Digital external drives. And the Microsoft Word documents showed that the author of these documents was titled Willis World. When you download Microsoft Office or download a copy of Microsoft Windows that asks you for an author name or organization name, you can typically put anything in there you want or leave it blank. But the metadata within those Microsoft Word documents showed that it was Willis World. And that was the same name used to create Mr. Willis's resume, a lot of personal papers, including his password documents with several usernames, passwords, personal information that would show that he was the owner of those.
Okay. And so, based on your examination, are you attributing Willis World to Jeffrey Willis?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, outside of the website videos that you found, did you find any other kind of videos? In particular, did you find homemade videos?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you describe for the jury what you found there, please?
There was a number of videos, several thousand videos that were created. I was able to determine with a Sony video camera, and I had examined 2 Sony video cameras that had certain metadata or XF data within them that gets transferred to a video to show that they were created with a specific device. And I was able to determine that there was several thousand videos that were created with 2 Sony video cameras and then another small, it's called Gen Plus, which is a small digital video recording device.
Now, within those, the homemade videos, were you able to determine first if any of those included anybody related to the defendant?
Yes, matter of fact, Mr. Willis was in some of those videos.
How about any relations to him?
Yes, I recall seeing his wife Shar in some of those videos.
Okay. And in particular, were you made aware of any voyeuristic videos?
Yes, I found a number of those type of videos that were saved both on the device and then transferred to these external hard drives.
And did that include anybody, for example, living in close proximity to Mr. Willis?
Yes, it did. It involved his neighbors.
In particular, which neighbors?
It would be the neighbors to the on the same side of the street as his house, the first house to the south, I believe, of Mr. Willis's house.
And that video, well, first, was that video taken at night or during the day?
They were taken at night.
And were they images willingly taken? In other words, if I have a video camera and you and I are together and I'm going to videotape you, you know that I'm videotaping. Is that what these images depicted?
They were not. They were being recorded at night through blinds. You could see a woman or a young adult undressing. There was audio to these videos, so you could hear a person breathing heavy in these videos. They were secretly recording, surveilling type videos of the person, of the women that live next door.
And did you discover any videos of any coworkers?
Yes.
What did you discover?
I discovered a number of videos that were taken in parking lots at night. You can tell that they're taken from inside a vehicle, where they're videotaping women walking in parking lots, in stores, different buildings. And there was one video that I could determine a couple license plates from. These videos were very graphic in that the videos were focusing on the buttocks, the breasts, the groin area of these women as he videotaped them. Very similar to the next door neighbors being videotaped while they were undressing in their bedroom. And these were videos of women just walking at night, parking lots, at a school bus stop where young girls were waiting for a bus.
Now, and I don't know if you were involved in this, but you mentioned being able to pick out a license plate. Did that license plate later come back to a woman by the name of Michelle Snatella?
Yes, it did. I was able to determine two license plate numbers. I gave those to investigators, and one of those license plates came back registered to Michelle. You can tell in the video that he is following this particular person in a parking lot. There's another woman that she talks to in the video, and then she gets into one of these two vehicles. And again, this is at night. It's dark, and it appears that the person videotaping them is taping them from within a vehicle.
And again, in particular with Ms. Snatella, did it appear as though she knew that she was being videotaped?
No, it did not appear that. She never looked at the camera. She never looked around. She didn't even appear to be suspicious that somebody was watching her or videotaping her.
And just so that I'm clear and the jury's clear, these videos that you've been describing here for the last 5 minutes, those are found on these external hard drives?
Yes, that's correct. They were saved to folders within those devices. Matter of fact, one of them was titled Homemade.
You had mentioned some cameras. I just wanted to pull these and show these to you. This is People's Exhibit 188 and People's Exhibit 187. The video cameras that you talked about looking at and analyzing where some of these videos came from, are those the two that you were mentioning?
Yes, they match our item number, the state police evidence number that we took in and analyzed.
Okay. I want to talk to you about this gateway computer. This is People's Exhibit 180. I'll put it so I don't have to hold it. We can move it. But did you analyze this particular unit as well?
Yes, I'm going to block the microphone and
No, here, I'll
get in trouble.
I'll move it.
Yes, that is one of the items that I forensically examined, the gateway computer.
Okay. I'm going to, just give me a minute here, Mr. McCarthy. Exhibit 113. Okay. Exhibit 113, this is the photographic image of the gateway computer where it was located in the house. Now, what I'm interested in is some internet history that you found in this computer as it relates to firearms. Can you describe that? And I'll be honest with you, maybe if we go through it, next slide is 114 and then 115. So hold on one second. Let me get there. Okay. Go ahead.
Sure.
What are we looking at here?
This is the internet history that was recovered from the Gateway Tower computer. And what that shows you is that the website Amazon was used to search. And Amazon can be searched like eBay or Google or Bing, kind of as a search engine. And so you put in to Amazon, obviously, what you're searching for. In this case, you can see that about halfway down the word Walther, W-A-L-T-H-E-R, is being searched for, and along with a silencer for a Walther PPK. And it also shows the date and time of the searches being in December of 2012. So we see the website Amazon being searched for a holster for a Walther, a silencer for a Walther, classic shoulder system for a Walther. So there were several searches for the Walther handgun and accessories for that.
All right. And you said those searches were being done in December of 2012.
That is correct.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. We're going to move to People's 116. What are we looking at in this particular image?
These are Google searches, and these were, again, dated 12/17 of 2012. And you can see the search terms on the left. One was for the word Walther, W-A-L-T-H-E-R, holsters for Walther PPK, Walther PPK. So you bring up the search engine Google, and then you type in those search terms into Google, and you will find exactly what you're looking for.
And again, it looks like around the similar time frame in those other searches on Amazon. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Give me 1 second. People's 117. What are we looking at this one?
We're looking at Google again for some search terms, and these are dated. The first one is 12/17 of 12. Again, for a Google search for Walther PPK. And then the date of February 13th, 2013, a search for Walther PPK. And then another date of 4/1 of 13, April 1st of 2013, for a Walther and a Walther PPX.
Okay. And this is, obviously the search terms or the search data that you have only get you so far. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you can't. Is there any way for you to kind of look and see exactly what was being looked for?
Only if I was doing it on the same date of the search. Obviously, search websites change on a daily, sometimes an hourly basis, and but this is the search history that's recoverable on that device.
Okay. All right. Exhibit 118. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at it. Yeah, this is another tool to recover internet history from the same computer, the Gateway computer, and we can see that we've confirmed Google searches, and we also can see that we went to the website WaltherAmerica.com and I believe WaltherArms.com. So we're looking at a couple different Amazon, Google. Also, there's a YouTube video, and these are all using the keyword search Walther, W-A-L-T-H-E-R.
And is it? Are you able to, for example, you talked about Amazon and Google. What about the Walther Arms search and the YouTube? Is there a date attached to those?
That was dated 4/1 of 2013.
Which one was that?
That was the WaltherArms.com.
Okay.
The YouTube video, there was not a date recovered on that one as far as I can see going down.
Okay. The WaltherArms.com, was that the first time that appeared, at least in the search history, that you were able to recover in April of 2013?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Exhibit 119, hold on 1 second. What are we looking at in this one?
We're looking at additional search history for Walther, and we're looking at WaltherArms.com, which resolves to their actual website for the handgun. And then WaltherArms.com 4/1 of 2013 shows again for handguns. So the person is searching for Walther handguns and accessories, including shoulder holsters, silencers, for that type of gun.
And that, again, the WaltherArms.com searches are happening on April 1st?
Yes, some of those were happening on April 1st of 2013.
Okay. And is there additional, the other Walther Arms, what's the date on those searches? Just a straight WaltherArms.com.
There's a 5/26 of 13.
So May 26th of 2013, there's more just general Walther Arms, or at least there isn't a, you were just testifying about the backslashes being specific to handguns, and that on 5/26/2013 is just a general website?
That is correct.
All right, People's 120, hold on. Is this just pulling out some stuff, I think?
This was a YouTube search for the search term Walther PPK 380, which I was able to resolve to a specific date and time of 12/17 of 2012. So this search engine YouTube was used to search for that inquiry.
Now, and I don't think I asked you this from the beginning, but the work you did on the gateway as it relates to this, was this material that was readily accessible, or was it something you had to recover?
It had to be recovered. It had been deleted, and we have forensic tools that can recover deleted history, and as long as it has not been overwritten, a lot of the history is recoverable. Sometimes it's not the entire history. Sometimes some of it is overwritten. But these forensic tools are fairly powerful and can recover a lot of deleted things.
So the stuff you've just been testifying to, all the searches with the various search engines, that was all deleted that you had to essentially go back and recover?
That is correct.
Okay. Let's see. The last, I think, just make sure that I'm, yeah. The last one is People's Exhibit 121. What are we looking at there?
That is the 121 is another search within WaltherArms.com. It was first visited on 4/1 of 2013, and then most recently visited on 5/26 of 13. So it means that it wasn't just gone to once; it was gone to at least twice.
Okay. Now, did you also get a chance to look at a desktop computer that had been taken from Herman Miller?
Yes, I did.
And in particular, based on what you did, were you able to determine whether or not Mr. Willis had access, or that was his computer that he had access to?
Yes, the information was the human resource people at Herman Miller provided the username for Mr. Willis. He had a specific username, which was JWT428. That was a user account for Mr. Willis.
Okay. Now, as it relates to Rebecca Bletch, did you find anything on the desktop as it related to her?
Yes, there was a picture of Rebecca under the user of Jeffrey Willis.
Okay. Now, in your search of the electronics here, were you able, or did you come across the name Kevin Bloom?
I did not.
And just so that we're clear, did you specifically search for that?
I did, yes.
And it wasn't located on any one of these items that you've testified to?
I never found it.
Okay. I have nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. McCarthy.
Good afternoon.
Could you switch photographs for you back to number 97? Could you bring up 97 for me? Sure. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That's this one?
That's correct. Yes, sir. All right. Are you there, Mr. McCarthy?
I'm there, yes, sir.
All right. And in your direct testimony, you said that the master folder, which is the yellow one, or orange, depending on your point of view, is the one VIX, I should say, was created on July 1st, 2014.
That is correct.
What about the folders that were placed inside of it? Do you know when those were created?
The files within the RSB folder.
Well, let's talk about JLH.
Okay, yes.
When was that one created? Do you know?
The files that were created within that folder were in 2013, 14, 15, and some in 16.
Okay. I guess let me go back and maybe I wasn't specific enough. You said the folder itself, the VIX folder,
Yes,
July 1, 2014.
yes.
Can you give us as specific a date for JLH?
I cannot, no.
Okay. And how about RSB?
That folder was created the same time the VIX folder was.
Okay. And scans?
That folder was created the same time the VIX folder was, 7-1.
Okay. Could you, the next one, 98? Did you do any, that one has photographs of some other materials in there. Clearly the bottom is the wanted poster and that sort of the reward poster, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And certainly those were published after her death, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
It doesn't make sense, well, obviously after her death they were published. Were you able to determine, are there any photographs in this group of Ms. Bletch that you were able to determine were in my client's possession prior to her being killed? Do you understand the question?
I understand it, and the answer is no.
Okay. Were you able to determine if any of these photographs or documents were available online to searchers?
I believe they were,
Okay.
yes.
Do you know if their source was an online source, or can you tell that? If they were online, or if they, someone that scanned the photograph and uploaded it, that sort of thing, can you tell the difference?
Well, you can tell typically if it's an original picture that would have some metadata or XF data embedded in the picture, or if it's a picture taken from the internet, and these pictures appear to have been taken maybe from a Facebook account or off the internet.
Okay. You described the video, the jog to the jurors. You recall?
The jogger.
The
yes.
jogger?
Yes, sir.
And this was one of tens of thousands, I think, is videos that you found?
Yes.
Okay. Now, first, I want to make sure these videos that you're finding. These are not full-length motion pictures like we see them at the theater for that last 2 hours long and 2 hours and 15 minutes. These are short films, I assume, for the most part.
They varied. There was a very few that were 2 hours in length, but there was most of them would be in the few minutes to 10 to 15 minute range.
Okay. And you found the jogger, and it was loaded to that computer, my client's computer, on, was it March 8th, 2014?
It was loaded onto that external device on that date, yes.
Okay. And so you don't know how old the film itself was, correct?
I don't know when the film was created, that's correct.
And you can't tell or maybe you can you tell the jury if that film was reviewed or viewed by my client prior to him uploading? In other words, did he upload it the same day he saw it, or did he see it and then come back a few days later and then upload it, or something along those lines?
It was created and accessed the same date.
Okay. And in this jogger, in the video of the jogger, did were you able, you saw the video, obviously.
I did, yes.
Was anybody in that video that you identified as Rebecca Bletch?
No, there was not.
Was there anyone in that video that you identified as my client, Mr. Willis?
No, there was not.
And it's not your contention that my client produced, directed, filmed that particular video? You don't have any information along those lines, do you?
I do not know.
And how many videos, this was one of thousands, how many videos were uploaded by my client after March 8th, 2014? Do you have any idea?
I didn't look at all the specific dates, but I can give you a year range that these videos were in 2013, 14, 15, and part of 16.
Okay. And you have any idea how many per year?
I do not.
Okay. And these videos vary, obviously, in their themes. I think it's the people enunciated it. Were there any other jogger videos?
Yeah, there was one other one where a woman is walking along a road, and she is abducted by an adult male individual and dragged into an abandoned house where she's raped and killed.
Okay. But the rest that you saw were of differing themes?
Yeah, somewhere in a house where a home invasion or burglary occurred, somewhere in a business. There are several different themes.
When you describe these videos, the first thing that came to my mind, and I'm an older guy, is the term snuff film. Do you remember that term?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then can you describe for the jury what a snuff film is or was?
A snuff video is typically a video of a dead person and somebody having sex with a dead person. It usually involves a murder and then sex with that dead person.
And that's the type, well, let me ask you, you describe these videos as two types. One that he's uploading or downloading from the internet, and the second type, I think you used the word voyeuristic films. Do you remember that descriptor?
Yes.
Okay. Were any of the, and I'll call the first type, the snuff films, were any of those snuff films, did they involve any participation of my client in them as far as you could see?
No, they did.
Okay.
They did not.
Okay, and nor Ms. Bletch?
That is correct.
Okay. So when we talk about the voyeuristic type films, we're talking about him taking pictures of his neighbors, videos of his neighbors.
Yes.
And videos of his friends.
There's videos of women and minors that I don't know who they are.
Okay, and people, well, but the type of assaultive snuff film that we talked about, the other type, did you see any of those private? Did he do any of those type of films with the Sony cameras?
The snuff type?
Yes, sir.
No, I did not see any.
One moment, sir. Now, is your testimony you didn't do? Had you been told about a man by the name of Kevin Bloom, or you just never? It's the first time you've heard of him.
No, I've heard of him during the investigation.
Okay, and you actively, active looking for him, or any reviewing of his computers, or any of his cell phones, or anything along those lines?
I did not do his digital devices.
All right, and this is going to be a little tedious here because I'm not sure the exact number, but would you bring up Exhibit 118? These are the online searches, I think. Go back to the very first one, Mr. Wilson, would you please? Keep going up. There you go. There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Is that 118?
That's one. I think that's 113 or 50. And they're going kind of fast there. Sorry about that, John.
It's the very first one.
Okay.
113.
All right. Let's see here. The time of those, let's see, 12/17. 2012. Mr. McCarthy, that document is assessed out. You have the site that's being searched, right?
Yes.
And the next column is what's being searched for. And
Yes.
then the third column is the time and date, correct?
Correct.
And it's, for instance, on, let's see, there's Amazon, Delco Classic. Let me use our high-tech pointer there, if you would. Okay. I'm referring to this one here, the Galco Classic Shoulder System, Walther, etc.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
And the time that search was made?
Yes.
Do you see what time it is?
It's 10:57
Okay.
p.m. and that's UTC time, which is Universal Time Coordinates. So you would have to subtract 4 hours from that time to come up with your local time.
Okay.
Because this forensic software converts this into universal time, depending on where you are located. So we would subtract 4 hours.
So Eastern Standard Time at 10:57 would be 6:57.
That is correct.
Okay. And that answers my question. I appreciate it. You mentioned that there are thousands of these videos that were found on my client's computers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do I ask this? Are you under the how long have you been in this business?
A long time.
Long time. And in that time, have you been able to get an impression as to how widely viewed these type of videos are, what the audience is for them in terms of numbers?
I've done a number of cases where these type of videos existed on digital evidence that I examined, yes.
Okay. No, what I meant was, how many people are watching these things?
I have no idea, but I know in the last few years they have becoming more and more prevalent on the internet, and
Okay.
more and more of these sites pop up.
And, okay, let me ask you this. What is there a commercial value to these films?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, okay. So the motivation, as far as you know, of people making these films is purely prurient? They just want to see this stuff? Nobody's making any money on this stuff?
They're free to download on the internet.
Okay.
If you know where to go and know where to find them, you can download them.
And if there's tens of thousands of these films, there's casts of thousands of men and women making these films. Is that correct?
There's a lot of different people making these films, yes.
Thank you. One moment, please. You didn't process Mr. Bloom's computer, Kevin Bloom.
I did not know.
Are you aware of whether or not it was processed by someone else?
I believe there was a computer located, but it was not processed by me.
And do you know who might have processed it, if it was processed at all?
I believe the hard drive was missing from that computer, so it could not be processed.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions on this witness.
Okay.
I have no other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. You may stand down.
Judge, can we sidebar here real quick before I call my next witness? You all set, Judge? Thank you, Your Honor. The people of the state of Michigan call Charlene Bishop to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat. State your name for the record.
Charlene Bishop.
Ms. Bishop, good afternoon.
Hi.
Do you know a person by the name of Jeffrey Willis?
Yes, I do. Former
And-
husband.
Before I continue, I'm going to have to ask you to speak up just a little bit.
Okay.
All right? You don't have to be a rock star, but the jury does have to hear what you have to say, okay?
Okay.
So the louder you can talk, the better it is.
Okay.
All right. You said you do know a person named Jeffrey Willis?
Yes.
And how is it that you know Mr. Willis?
Ex-husband.
And how long were you and Mr. Willis married?
13 years.
And did you know each other longer than that?
Yes, 5 years before that.
So a total of 18 years, essentially.
Correct.
Did you have any children together?
No.
Now,
Symptoms.
okay. So as part of this training,
Mhm.
that included what happens if you overdose or you're given too much insulin?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I want to show you another photograph. This is People's Exhibit 71. Had you ever seen that toolbox before?
No. The only toolbox I saw was a red one.
A red one?
A red one, and it had a bumper sticker on it from Florida.
Okay. So you've never seen this one?
No.
How about the, let's flip forward here. People's Exhibit 75. One second. This safe, you ever see that before?
No. Nope.
Were you aware at all, or did you monitor at all, any financial transactions your ex-husband would have done on sites like eBay?
No.
I mean, were you that? And I don't mean this disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Were you that type of person or wife that kind of made sure you kind of knew what was going on, or not?
No.
Why?
He handled the finances. I would give him $500 check a month, and he would put it towards the bills. He had his own passwords for his accounts.
Okay. What were your interests?
Church. I taught a Sunday school class. I taught a teen girl class. I taught women to sew. I had craft Saturdays where I would go to craft at church with a bunch of ladies. The Wednesday night was sewing, Sunday was church, that kind of stuff.
As a result of the activities you were involved in, did that cause you to be out of town?
Yes.
I mean, how often would you say you would be out of town?
Once a year I went with the teen group. The particular year we went to Grand Traverse, the Wolf Lodge, with the teen girls, and that was when the kidnapping occurred.
So, okay, so the weekend of April 16th, 2016, were you in town that weekend?
No. I was with the pastor's wife and 3 teenagers.
Okay. Now, did you travel a lot or do trips a lot with your church group?
We did a lot of female trips to the movies, weekend trips. We would go with the women's ministries.
Okay. Did you mentioned that you taught Sunday school? Did your ex-husband ever teach with you?
No.
Did he? I mean,
He did not attend
Okay.
regularly.
my question was: you sound like a person that attended church on a regular basis,
Yes.
every Sunday almost. Is that true?
Yes.
Did your ex-husband go with you?
No. On special occasions, once in a while.
Okay.
Like
Now-
maybe a Christmas if somebody in my family was performing. He would come occasionally.
Okay. Now, as it relates to, I want to talk a little bit about the silver van.
Mhm.
Was that a car that you and he shared?
We did share it for a while my car was hit in the front end.
Okay. And you remember when that was?
That was in July. Well, July to December, I had broken my heel, so I wasn't driving then. And the car accident actually occurred in November in Walmart parking lot. So
Now-
from November to approximately February, when my dad was working on my car.
What year was that?
2015.
2015. Okay. So during that time period of 2015, you were kind of sharing that van.
Yes.
Prior to that, you had your own car.
Yes.
And were you the primary driver of that car?
Yes.
What kind of car was that?
Cavalier.
Okay.
Chevy Cavalier.
And your ex-husband, was he the primary driver of the silver van? during
Yes.
that period? And I assume after your car was fixed, you went back to your Cavalier.
Yes.
Okay.
He did not prefer to drive my car because of the size of it. He had not fit into it well.
Oh, okay. So it was smaller?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any idea that your ex-husband was into the dark web,
No.
pornography?
Not the dark stuff, no.
Okay. Did were you ever asked by your husband to perform? And I don't mean to be prying and disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Relevance.
I don't know what the question is.
Well, the question is whether or not she was ever asked to perform any of the sadomasochistic type activities.
Appears to be at this time that would be irrelevant unless you can establish why that's relevant.
Well, we've had a lot of testimony about his.
Well, maybe we better have this discussion out of it.
Okay, that's fine.
Since that the jury's- Okay. Jury's been excused. Go ahead and I'll state the relevance here.
Well, Judge, certainly we've had a lot of testimony just recently by Jerry McCarthy of the items that he discovered on the electronic devices, not only found in the defendant's house, but also tied to the defendant, as Mr. McCarthy described. In other words, finding documents, like password document with usernames and accounts related to the defendant, containing pretty graphic video. And so to me, finding out whether or not this was something that was shared between the two of them, I think is relevant. Or whether or not, if it wasn't shared between the two of them and it was a completely secret and second lifestyle, that's also relevant.
I don't see relevance. I'm not going to let you inquire from her sexual activity that occurred between she and her. I don't find it relevant.
Okay.
Okay, you may return the jury. The objection is sustained. We're looking at
Tom?
the sidebar.
Yes.
Tom, hold on.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. People's Exhibit 73, that photograph. Have you ever seen any of those items before?
No. Not at all.
74. Hold on 1 second. Ever seen that before?
Absolutely not.
We already talked about that.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this: were you aware that your ex-husband had a registered handgun?
One, yes.
Okay. You know what kind? Are you a gun person?
No.
All right. Does that gun? Hold on. And this is People's Exhibit 78. Does that gun look familiar at all to you?
It's black and it's a handgun.
Okay. That's all you can tell me?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know, or did you ever see in your house or in any one of your cars, van or your Cavalier, any toy guns,
No.
airsoft guns,
No.
any fake guns?
Nope.
Never seen any in your house before?
No.
Not in your car?
No.
How about the van?
No. We had a
Um,
grandson and that was not allowed.
Okay. So you didn't allow your grandson to play with that kind of stuff?
No. Absolutely not.
And maybe, Ms. Bishop, you can help with me by answering this question. Could you describe for the jury the type of relationship you had with your ex-husband?
Towards the end of the last 5 or 6 years, he went his way and I went my way. When we were together, it was a lot of abusive verbally.
Again, we're getting areas that are not relevant.
Sustained.
Okay. Let's not talk about
The jury will ignore the last answer to the question.
Well, the last part of the answer or the entire?
Yes.
Last part of the answer or the entire
Well,
answer?
let's ask a different.
Let me ask a different question. And
In-
Mr.
ignore
Johnson,
the
if you
entire-
don't mind, I'll lead so that we don't run into that issue. Are you
Ignore
okay?
the entire answer to the last question. The jury
We'll see,
did
Mr.
not consider the last answer.
All right.
Okay, you can rephrase it if you want to.
Thank you. You indicated the last 5 or 6 years, the relationship was essentially you went your way, your ex-husband went the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Were there open lines of communication between the two of you?
No.
Did you really know exactly what he was doing or not doing at all?
No.
And I'm assuming he really didn't participate or take part in what you were doing over
Nope.
the last 5, 6 years. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk about, do you recall back in 2013, police officers coming to your house?
Yes.
And why do you recall that?
Because the dogs were freaking out.
Okay. And were you home?
Yes.
And in fact, did you actually see the two officers at your door?
Not at the door. I saw them in the driveway looking at the van.
Okay. And at that time, obviously you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And if asked, if the officers asked your ex-husband to see his cell phone, was the cell phone at home?
Yes.
And was it available to turn over to the police?
Yes.
And you know that how?
He was home that day. He put his keys and his cell phone in a certain area by the door. That was his routine.
Okay. And you recall specifically seeing keys and cell phone there?
He grabbed his keys to go out to unlock the van for the police.
And the phone was right next to the keys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall ever receiving a voicemail message? Before I ask you that question, did you have a voicemail machine at your house in 2013?
Yes, we had an answer machine.
What type of answering machine did you have?
I am not sure. It was a little cassette one.
All right. So it was one of those.
Older style.
That's a good answer to kind of a bad question. I don't really care about the brand.
Mhm.
But the messages were recorded on a micro cassette.
Yes.
Were you aware that in early June of 2013, Corporal Chris Hare called and left you a message on that answering machine?
No, I was not.
Did you ever hear that answer?
No.
That message for you?
No.
Did your ex-husband ever tell you, hey, look, Norton Shores kind of wants to talk to you. You probably want to call him and set that up?
No.
So you had no idea?
Nope.
Back during that time frame, did you have a pet?
Yes.
What type of pet did you have?
We had a chocolate lab.
And do you recall back in 2013 whether or not you had a dog kennel or a dog house?
We had a crate in the house. No dog house outside.
Okay.
No
So
kennel.
one of those plastic crates with the metal gate kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a metal, the top was metal and the bottom tray was plastic.
Okay. Obviously, at some point in time, police get involved in 2016, and your ex-husband gets arrested. You remember that?
Yes.
Now, do you recall receiving a letter from him shortly after that?
Yes.
And what was the contents of the letter? What was it referencing?
It was referencing what he had been doing the day Rebecca Blatch had been shot and what I remembered or what he intended me to remember.
Okay.
I felt like he was planting memories
And why do you say that?
because it was on a Sunday and I have a schedule on Sundays.
Okay.
At the time, was Sunday school, 9:30 to 9:45 was when it started. Church at 11, lunch between 12 and 12:30 with family and friends from church, and then when I got home, a nap. And I napped until it was time to get him ready for work.
Now, was there any reference in that letter about clothing?
Yes, he said that he went to work with a dirty shirt.
And what can you tell me? What can you tell the jury about that?
That was not something he would have accepted.
Were you the person that normally did the laundry?
Yes, I did the laundry and it had to be done.
In the time frame that you guys were together, did he ever go to work with a stinky shirt on?
No, never. That was not acceptable.
Now, as part of you recall turning over some documents, writings to I think Detective Sparks.
Yes,
And
writing samples.
Writing samples.
Mhm.
And the writing samples that you turned over to Detective Sparks, were those samples that you recognize as having been composed or drafted by your ex-husband?
Yes, one of them was actually a resume that he had edited.
Okay, in like
In
pencil
his-
or pen?
yeah.
All right.
Yes,
So the things that you turned over to Detective Sparks, you recognized as being things that your ex-husband wrote?
yes, they were directly from our filing cabinet.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you real quick about Mr. Bloom.
Hmm.
Do you know him?
Yes,
Now, would there be an occasion where Mr. Bloom would be at your house?
he would stop and visit in the mornings, but he wouldn't come in. He
Was there-
would pull in the driveway and the dogs would freak out. And then Jeff would either show up shortly after or he would go out to meet him.
Okay. So, did these meetings ever happen inside your house?
No,
And during some period of time, was there a monthly poker game?
yes,
Okay. And was Mr. Bloom part of that?
yes,
And how did that work? Did it ultimately sometimes end up at your house?
yes. Sometimes it was at our house, sometimes it was at his house, and sometimes it was at Bloom's father's home.
So, on those occasions, I'm assuming you would be home?
Yes,
And was it just Mr. Bloom and your ex-husband, or were there other guys involved as well?
There were others.
All right. How many total? Do you remember?
Jeff's brother, some 2-3 friends.
Okay. Did those poker games stop?
After a while, they did, yes.
All right. When did that
They stopped at our house.
stopped at your house?
Mhm.
Okay. Was there anything significant that happened that you can remember?
Just his vulgar language.
No, I'm sorry. That's a bad question.
Mm.
Why did they stop, or what event happened that ultimately caused these poker games to stop?
Room. There wasn't room in our kitchen. We had 2 dogs. Just his behavior.
Okay.
He wanted to talk about things that happened.
Hold on.
Okay.
The last comment from the witness will be stricken, and the jury may not consider it.
In particular, do you remember when Jessica Herringill went missing?
Yes.
Did the poker games continue after that or stop?
Stop.
Had it been going on a routine basis up to that point?
I believe so, yes.
All right. Now, was there ever a time that you can recall where maybe Mr. Bloom was inside your house when neither you nor the defendant were present?
On one occasion, yes.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
Years.
We say years, 5 years, 10 years.
5, maybe more.
Okay, and how is it that you came to find out that he was present?
The toilet was plugged, and Jeffrey called him and talked to him about it, about stopping and using our bathroom. And Kevin said that.
All right, hold on. Don't say what he said.
Okay.
But let me ask you this question. Based on that conversation, were you able to confirm that he had been in your house?
Yes.
Now, as far as you know, was that the one and only time?
Yes.
In particular, as it relates to the van, if the van was present at your house, what did that typically mean?
Jeff was home.
If the van was gone from your house, what did that typically mean to you?
Jeff was gone.
All right. So, was there ever, at least from your independent memory, was there ever a time where the van was gone and Jeff was at home?
No.
Was that
No.
No? Give me 1 second. I have to ask you one last question. I apologize for this, Ms. Bishop. The person we've been talking about, your ex-husband, is he in the courtroom?
Yes.
Could you point him out and describe what he's wearing, please?
Yes, he's over there.
What's he wearing?
A suit and a blue tie.
Blue tie?
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, let the record reflect as witnesses identified the defendant. Yes to that identification, Judge? I'm sorry.
I want to make sure.
Oh,
Well, I don't think it's Jeff. Yes, she's making it.
okay.
I don't think so.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Ms. Bishop,
Yes.
good afternoon. My name is Fred Johnson. May I ask you a few more questions?
Yes.
All right. Now you mentioned that you have an insulin, I'm just calling it insulin pump, because
Mhm.
it's the easiest way for me to remember.
Okay.
You have an insulin pump that provides you with the medication you need, is that correct?
Yes.
And over the course of time, over the course of years, have you ever had to rely on injections when the pump failed?
Yes.
Okay. How often would you say that has happened? Or how many times, I should say?
Maybe twice since 2005.
Okay. And did Mr. Willis ever have to provide you with an injection?
He was taught.
He was taught how to,
Yes.
but you don't recall whether or not he actually injected you himself?
No, the 2 times that I do remember, he called the ambulance.
Okay. And isn't it true, ma'am, that there's did you say there was a monthly doctor's?
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
Mhm.
And every 3 months, isn't it true that Mr. Willis would have driven you to the doctor's appointment?
Occasionally,
Okay.
mostly.
Okay, so when he drives you to the appointments,
Mhm.
would it surprise you to know that he had a supply of medication just in case the pump failed on the way over there?
I don't see why he would.
Okay, but you
He
didn't know.
called, when I needed it, he called the ambulance.
Okay, but it's possible that he had a supply, just in case the ambulance doesn't get there in time, or your pump fails and you're on the way to the doctors, or whatever the reason might be.
The insulin is for a high, not a low.
Okay,
And I was having lows.
all right. So there would never be an occasion when the see, now I'm a little confused. Was there occasions when the pump failed,
Yes,
and you required to take injections at those occasions?
yes,
Okay. Is it possible then that your husband, your former husband, had a supply of whatever it was necessary in case you were in his vehicle and the pump failed, or you needed the supply?
it's possible he took it, yes.
Okay. Ma'am, on the time that Mr. Bloom got into your home, you remember what you were just talking about, Mr.
Yes.
How did he get in, do you know?
We never locked our door,
Okay. So the door remains unlocked.
except when I'm home alone.
Okay. And it sounded to me like you had a very busy, at least church schedule, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes,
You have to say yes or no for these things.
yes.
Okay, no problem. You're doing fine. And so there'd be times when you'd be out of the home.
Mhm. Yes,
Okay. And don't worry about it. Obviously, did you have a video system or something in the home so you could see what's going on in your home when you weren't there?
no,
Okay. So in the times that you weren't there, you don't know who was coming over or what was going on in the home. Is that correct?
correct.
All right. One moment, please. Ma'am, there were a couple computers in your home at the time the police came and searched you. You remember that?
Yes,
Do you remember the one the gateway that was in the living room?
there were 2 computers in the living room at that time.
Okay. Do you know if they were both being used or not?
I do not know.
Did you use either of them?
No,
Okay. And your husband worked third shift?
yes,
Slept during the day?
yes. We weren't together very much.
Okay. Do you know whose computer the gateway was? Do you know who owned that computer?
Yes,
Who did?
James Batch. Well, I'm not sure James Batch owned it, but we received it from him. He was divorcing and had 2 houses, and then they decided to get back together, and he invited Jeff and I over to help clear out the house.
Okay. Do you recall about when you received that computer? I assume it was gifted to you?
Yes,
You remember about when that would happen? The year?
it was over a year.
It was over a year ago?
Yes.
Okay.
My mother had a heart attack the same time Jeffrey was arrested,
Okay.
and it was while she was working. We were going to donate the things that we found in the house to her employer.
Okay. So how does that help you date when you received this computer?
She didn't work that whole year. She
Okay.
had to retire.
What year was that? Do you remember?
She retired 2016 in May.
Okay.
She had a heart attack in May.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't have any additional questions.
Just a couple follow-up, Judge. Is it typical to keep an emergency, I'll call it insulin pack in a locked safe?
No,
Would there be any reason why that would have to be secured from your view?
nope,
Any reason why it couldn't be out in the open, let's say in the center console, just in case you had an attack?
right. It could be.
Okay, so,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
The other thing is, was there ever a time, outside of that one time that Mr. Bloom was in your house, that you ever noticed things disturbed, not in the right place,
No,
moved, that caused you that concern that maybe somebody was in your house?
no,
Was there ever a time when the defendant said, either to you or during a conversation, I don't know where all this computer stuff came from. I've never seen it before.
No.
I have nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
Very briefly now, we talked about what, if you ever those things were disturbed in the home. Both you and your husband had to run the home, is that correct?
Yes.
And you had dogs in there and
Yes.
and these are black labs?
Chocolate labs.
Chocolate labs, okay. And so it wouldn't surprise you if you came home and found something like in the refrigerator moved or in the kitchen moved, that sort of thing. Because your husband lived there as well, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You can stand down. Next witness, please.
Thank you, Judge. The people of the state of Michigan call Lieutenant Mark Goff to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please have a seat. State your name for the record.
My name is Detective Lieutenant Mark Goff, Goff.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon.
What department do you work for?
The Michigan State Police.
And how long have you been a employee or employed by the Michigan State Police?
Been employed with them for about 17 years, with about 8 years in the Forensic Science Division.
All right. That was my next question.
Oh.
So you're currently assigned to the Forensic Science Division?
Yes, sir.
And in what subdivision of that division are you a part of?
I'm the unit supervisor for the Combined Question Document and Trace Evidence Unit.
And could you just describe in general to the jury what the question document unit is and does?
So the Question Document Unit, we work with pretty much anything that has to do with determining the content or authenticity of documents. So we make comparative examinations of handwriting, handprinting, typewriting, paper, inks. We do detections of obliterations, counterfeits, forgeries. We make restorations on charred, water-soaked documents, faded documents, anything that requires basically a message on the substrate.
And in order to be the supervisor, I guess, of the Question Documents Unit, what's your education, sir?
I have a bachelor's degree from Western Michigan University.
And let's talk a little bit about your training. In particular, your specialized training. What helps you, or what part of that gives you the expertise in this area?
Okay. Well, there aren't that many of us, so we are trained in an apprenticeship-style training. In my case, I was trained on I had a 3-year full-time training program under 3 ABFDE, or American Board of Forensic Document Examiners, certified trainers. In addition to that, I've attended numerous workshops, seminars, and to include the FBI's Fundamentals of Handwriting Examination course.
Now, as part of your experience, what organizations do you belong to?
Okay, I belong to the American Society of Question Document Examiners, the Midwestern Association of Forensic Scientists. There I work on various committees. Even I planned the 2015 meeting that we had right here in Mackinac Island. I'm a member of the Scientific Working Group for Document Examiners, or SWIGDoc, and there's a lot of long acronyms here. The last one is the OSAC, the Organization of Scientific Area Committees Question Document Subcommittee. And those last two are organizations that are put together, that were originally put together by the federal government to standardize the examination of documents within our field.
Have you been asked to teach in this area?
Yes, sir, I have. Actually, I just taught a workshop for the Midwestern Association of Forensic Document Examiners. I've taught workshops at the American Academy of Forensic Sciences and at the Southeastern Association of Forensic Document Examiners. In addition to local agencies, the Michigan Association of County Clerks, recruit schools, and other prosecutors' offices.
Now, have you testified in court as an expert in this area before?
Yes, I have, sir.
How many times?
About a half a dozen times.
Okay, and at what levels?
I've testified in both circuit court, district court, and in one administrative hearing.
All right. I'm handing you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 218. What is that document, sir?
This is my curriculum vitae or resume for forensic scientists.
And is that your CV in its complete form?
Yes, sir, it is.
First, Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Exhibit 218.
No objection.
Okay. Second, I'd ask the court to qualify Lieutenant Goff as an expert in the area of question documents and analysis, handwriting analysis.
What here?
Please.
Lieutenant Goff, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Fred Johnson. I'd like to ask a couple questions about your qualifications here.
Yes, sir.
You're with the Michigan State Police at this point,
Yes, I am.
and you've testified as an expert in the areas specified by Mr. Hilson on 6 prior occasions.
Yes, I have.
And on each of those occasions, were you called by a prosecutor to testify?
I don't know.
Did you testify were all those criminal? You had one administrative hearing.
Yes, sir.
The other 5 were criminal cases?
Yes, they were.
Did you testify during the course of the defense or the prosecution?
It would be on the prosecution.
Okay. Do you have any indication that a defense lawyer has called you to testify as an expert at this point?
No, I haven't.
All right.
Not yet.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions, and I have no objection to Lieutenant Goff's qualifications.
All right, you testify as an expert in handwriting analysis.
Give me 1 second. I'm handing you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 219. Generally, I'm not going to ask you what it says, but generally, sir, what is that?
This would be my laboratory report about my handwriting examination.
Okay. Now, if you could briefly tell when you're asked to to analyze or to make comparisons in this particular case, what is it exactly that you ask investigators to provide to you in order for you to make an accurate conclusion?
So in order to do a handwriting examination, I have to compare question writing to known writing, and the known writing should be representative of the writer's range of variation. So ideally what I would ask for would be requested writing samples, which are samples taken from the person that replicate the question writing, so it would be the same words, letters, potentially on the same type of substrate paper. Sometimes we have them do it on chalkboards if that's where the question writing was. And then in addition to that, I ask for collected writing, and this is writing that was conducted outside of the course of the investigation. And so in that, it would be any writing that may be out there, correspondence, birthday cards, sometimes there's car titles, driver's license signatures, and what I'm trying to do is just have a baseline of what their normal handwriting would look like compared to the handwriting that is taken in request, so that I can compare those two for consistency.
And in this particular case, did you receive requested, I want to make sure I get these terms right, requested documents from the state police, in other words, the samples outside of the investigation? Does that make sense?
I received both collected and requested writing in this.
Okay. So the collected, and we had Detective Sergeant Zach Sparks testify yesterday that he collected 30 samples for you to examine. Was that, do you recall that?
Those would be the request writing samples, yes. I had 30 requested writing samples.
And in particular, the document that you were examining, I believe, is located in People's 206. I'll show that to you.
Okay.
Does that look familiar?
Yes, it is. It has my laboratory designator of Q2 and our laboratory number of GR162492 with my initials.
Okay. So this document was the one recovered. You got some requested documents, and you also got documents, what I call known samples outside of the investigation to use for your comparison in this case.
That's correct.
And just to, I guess, for way of education for the jury, what is it, as you kind of go through, what are you looking for?
Okay. Well, so first of all, just to give you a little background on how a handwriting, how the handwriting analysis or the basis for our examinations work. It's grounded in the idea that people are individual and unique, and that writing is unique, and that this individuality is reflected in their handwriting. There's numerous factors that go into affecting this individuality, and that would be person's fingers, hands, arms, their coordination, how they learn to write letters in school, and then how they've deviated from those copybook styles since then. All of these individual characteristics, all of these individualities are actually characteristics that we look for. Some of these characteristics carry more significance and are more individually identifiable to a person. So some of the characteristics that we would look for would be the overall general appearance. So say you get a Christmas card from Grandma in the mail, you don't have to flip it over to say, oh, hey, this is Grandma's handwriting. You kind of recognize that. So does it have the gross overall appearance? From there, we look at letter forms, spacing. Are there wide spaces, narrow spaces? Do they put some spaces in between letters that are narrower or farther? Proportions, so when they're writing, do they write some letters bigger in proportion to other letters? Tapered beginning and ending strokes, hooks, relation to baseline. People don't typically write straight along the baseline unless that's their habit. Sometimes some letters are pulled up off the baseline or go down in the baseline. Diacritics, which include I dots and T crosses. So all of those individual characteristics are what we're looking for. So in this instance, when I'm doing a writing comparison, what I would do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this question document right here. I'm going to examine it for some of those writing characteristics I talked about, but I'm also going to look to see, does it appear to be naturally written? And what I'm really looking for is speed and spontaneity. Are there variations in pen pressure? Are there tapered beginning and ending strokes? Are the lines smooth? Okay. When you write, you're executing a motor pattern. So when you say, in my example, if I'm writing my signature, mark off. I execute the motor pattern, write, mark off. I don't think about writing M, then A, then R, then K, because what that would do is that would give you a slow, drawn appearance. And so once I've examined this question document and determined that it appears to be naturally written, then I look at it for consistency. Within this document, does it appear to be consistent in that is there writing from more than one person, or does it appear to all have been written by the same person? So once I've determined consistency in the question document, I then examine the known documents, and I do the same thing. I look at the known documents. In this case, I had quite a few of them, and so I look through all those known documents. Were they naturally written? Were they consistent? So in this instance, like I said before, I will look at the requested writing samples and the known writing samples, and I'll try to determine, are they consistent? Does it look like there's any additional writing from maybe another writer in there? In this case, they were consistent. So once I've determined that they're consistent, they're internally consistent with both the Q and the K, question and known writing, then I'll set them down on the table, and I'll do so that I can do a side-by-side comparison. So I'll examine that question document, I'll look for some of those characteristics that we talked about, and then I'll attempt to find those characteristics in the known writing. So as I'm making this examination, I'll mark my findings if there's similarities, if there's dissimilarities, and then once I've completed my examination, I put a comparative value on the either similarities or dissimilarities that I notice, and I'll render an opinion.
And I appreciate how you kind of combined all that with what you did in this case. So you went through that process that you just described in this particular case related to the question document, which was this note discovered, and all the known samples that you had.
That's correct.
And were you able to, as you described, were you able to make those comparisons between the two?
Yes, I was.
And was it sufficient enough for you to render an opinion in this case as it related to the question document?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And I'm assuming that opinion is documented here in this report.
Yes, sir.
And what is that opinion?
It is my opinion that Jeffrey Willis wrote the question writing on the Q2 document.
And the Q2 document is this particular note right here.
That's correct.
Okay. Great. And that's, again, is that reflected in what is People's Exhibit 219?
That's correct. That's in my results section.
And is there anything about that particular report that's different than the one that you authored rendering that opinion?
It has a People's Exhibit sticker on it.
Okay, fair enough. Other than that, it looks the same?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's 219.
219 is specifically
The opinion related to the note, yes, sir.
okay, thank you, that will be received.
And I don't have any other questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Lieutenant, did you examine any other documents as they relate to this particular matter?
Yes, I did, sir.
And what was the nature of those documents?
I received a notebook maybe a month or so prior to this one that I just examined for impression evidence.
Were you told who the author of the notebook was, or was that your job to figure that out?
I don't recall. I received it. It didn't have any writing on it, and I didn't have any known writing to compare to it. So I processed it for latent impressions to see if there was any impressions of writing in it, and then sent it on to the next stop.
Did you find any latent impressions?
Yes, I did.
All right, and you sent them on to?
I would have to check my the chain of custody. I did my examination and put it back in storage.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
I have nothing else, Judge.
Thank you, sir, you may stand now.
That's all I have, Your Honor. I've exhausted my witnesses for today,
Okay.
which is just 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we kept you deep into the evening yesterday, so we're going to make up for that today. Let you go a little early, and I hope you enjoy the balance of the day. Just want to remind you, you can't discuss the case with anyone. You can't have any discussion with anyone involved in the case. You can't read or listen to or view any media accounts of these proceedings. Other than that, I hope you have a pleasant afternoon and evening, and we'd like to see you back here tomorrow at 9:30, and we'll recommence. And we expect a full day tomorrow, Mr. Helson.
It may or may not be. I will announce, we talked about this in the court and the jury. I have 5 witnesses left. I can get 4 of those in tomorrow, as the court recalls.
Correct. So it may or may not be a full day, depending on how long these witnesses take tomorrow. And then, of course, we'll be back on Friday. So enjoy yourself, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9:30. Anything more for the record, Calvin?
No, sir. Not for the record, but maybe a brief sidebar now?
Sure. Or we can come back to change.
Okay.
I'm going to go off the record.
Thank you, sir.